Okay, sorry for the delay on this one. I am re-recording this video because the computer I normally use crapped out on me before I could upload it the first time. Anyway, apparently this Knockouts Monsters Ball match at Sacrifice is only going to be Taylor Wilde versus Daphne. Oh, God. Look, first of all, I think this is an even worse idea than having all the knockouts in the match like I originally thought was going to happen. Now, granted, many of those women could not be less suited for a match like this if they tried. But there are spots that you can do in a multi-person match, spots that fans will be expecting in a Monsters Ball that you just can't do when it's one-on-one. I mean, with only 2 people in there, they won't even be able to do the Tower of Doom. Second, why is this a Monsters Ball in the first place? I mean, I get that Daphne is pissed off at Taylor. It makes sense that she would want payback for Taylor not helping her when the beautiful people cut her hair off. But how do you go from that to Monsters Ball? I mean, was there something fundamentally wrong with the 2 of them having a regular match first? I mean, even a normal hardcore match would have been okay, but in a Monsters Ball, the fans are going to be expecting carnage that I just don't think these women can deliver. I mean, third, neither of them are cut out for a Monsters Ball. They're not hardcore wrestlers. I mean, do you see Taylor or Daphne getting put through a flaming table? I don't. I mean, if you want to do a Monsters Ball with women, then you need women who are badass. I mean, someone like a Mickey Knuckles, Awesome Kong, or hell, even a Lufisto would be okay for something like this. I mean, have Taylor or Daphne even been in a hardcore match before? I mean, I have no doubt that they'll work hard and give it their best shot, but they're just so far out of their element here, it's not even funny. Fourth, if you're dead set on having a Monsters Ball, then why do it now when you only have 3 weeks to promote it and you've only given it a few seconds of build-up per show? I mean, Taylor and Daphne didn't even appear on iMPACT this week. I mean, why not tease it for a while, build up to it over several months, so it'll actually mean something when it happens? I mean, at the very least, the idea of a women's Monsters Ball has some kind of novelty to it, so why are you going to go out of your way to kill that novelty by throwing it away without making it feel important first? Fifth, why in the blue hell is this feud starting with Monsters Ball? This is the type of match that you use to end a feud, not start one, because once you have a Monsters Ball, there's nowhere else for you to go after that. And what's next? Are Taylor and Daphne going to have a barbed wire massacre match at Slammiversary and then end the feud with an exploding Japanese death match at Victory Road? Look, I hate to sound negative here, but I think this sounds like an absolutely horrible idea. I mean, I'm thinking this, and I write the fucking knocked out column. So what are other people thinking? Oh, God. Look, anyway, if you disregard that whole debacle, I actually did really enjoy iMPACT this week. I think the final hype for Sacrifice was solid. We had a really good X Division match with Motor City Machine Guns, Lethal Consequences, and Christopher Daniels and Suicide, and the announcement of Daniels versus Suicide for the X Division title at the pay-per-view. This part I kind of had to take issue with. There was nothing wrong with it technically. I mean, the match was great, and the title match at Sacrifice will be great too, but I just don't think it's the right time to do Daniels versus Suicide. And personally, I would have had this triple threat tag match at Sacrifice and then saved Daniels versus Suicide for Slammiversary. I mean, put it off for at least a month. Because the Suicide character has been getting over really well. I mean, us smart marks may not be thrilled with it, but the casual fans are digging him as the champion. And Daniels still has a lot of momentum coming off his big return last month, and neither of these guys should be losing matches right now. And I don't think this is the right spot for Daniels either. I mean, he has brought more of a focus on the X Division with him, I won't deny that, but I think he's done everything there is for him to do in the X Division. And he should be at the top of the card in major programs, fighting the main event Mafia with AJ and Jarrett and all the other top guys. But don't get me started on that, because I could go on all day, and I've only got 11 minutes here. Also, this week we had a contract signing for the Knockouts title match of Angelina Love and Awesome Kong. This was a really entertaining segment. Angelina's promo was a riot. I think she's done a great job as the champion since lockdown, and she really deserves to retain the title this Sunday. The problem is, I'm not sure how she can realistically do that, because they've been pushing Awesome Kong like a force of nature for the last few weeks. So now it's going to look completely ridiculous if Kong doesn't win unless Angelina runs her over with a car or something. But nevertheless, I like this segment a lot. I think it was a great way to have, I think it's a great idea to have a contract signing for the Knockouts title match, if for no other reason than WWE would never bother to do something like that for either of their women's titles. And I think that's something that TNA has done a good job of lately, highlighting aspects of their product where they can deliver, where the WWE really does not deliver. You know, focus on their knockouts, focus on their tag teams. You know, you don't see tag teams on the rise in WWE like you see with Beer Money and the British Invasion. You just don't. I mean, all you see is a handful of guys who are just biding their time until they can break up and start singles careers like Priceless, or people who got stuck in the tag team division because the writers can't think of anything else to do with them, like Brian Kendrick. Anyway, final hype for the main event of Sacrifice was very good as well. We had all 4 participants competing in warm-up matches. We had Sting versus Eric Young. This was way too short. I wish they gave it at least a few more minutes so Eric could get in a little offense, but this was definitely playing into this Eric Young heel turn they've been teasing for a while. Kurt Angle and Matt Morgan had a good match. Again, I would really have liked to see this get more time, but at least Morgan got in enough offense where he looked strong in defeat. Then we had Jeff Jarrett versus Samoa Joe, where Joe basically beat the shit out of Jarrett, focusing on that injured leg until the referee stopped the match. And I was actually going to compliment Jarrett for putting Samoa Joe over like that, but then of course Jarrett walked out in the next segment and he was perfectly fine, wasn't even limping. Come on, Jeff. Joe is supposed to be one of your top guys. You can't sell for him for 5 minutes. You realize it hurts your own product when you do stuff like that? And this is just stupid. I mean, Jarrett should have just stayed in the back and sold the beating after Joe kicked his ass. Nevertheless, they do seem to be really serious about rebuilding Samoa Joe as a monster. I, like many of you, have some issues with the way they're doing it, but they're not jobbing him out every single week anymore, and that's a step in the right direction. Also, I like that they're teasing the Joe and AJ feud. We see, a little bit here, a little bit there. I hope to God that they'll keep that on a slow burn for the time being and then build up to AJ versus Joe at Bound for Glory for the World Championship. That's the Bound for Glory main event I want this year. AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. But I worry that they're going to blow their wad on this one way too soon because they seem to be focusing on that match more than they're focusing on AJ and Booker and Joe versus Nash. So we'll see what happens there. Then the final match was Mick Foley versus a cardboard cutout of Rocky Balboa. Don West was awesome here. He put this thing over like it was Clash of the Champions, and Mike Tenay was just the straight man saying, "Shut the hell up! It's a damn cardboard cutout." Yeah. It didn't make up for having a real main event, but man, if you didn't get a laugh out of this segment, then you won't laugh at anything. I was cracking up. This is one of the funniest things they've done on Impact in a long time. And I think whichever WWE writers are responsible for all the Santina garbage should look at this segment and take notes. Because Mick Foley versus Rocky, funny. Santina versus Vicky Guerrero, not funny. And that about does it for Impact this week. Sacrifices this Sunday. I think this looks like a very good pay-per-view on paper with the potential to be a great pay-per-view if they pull it off. The main event has very good hype, and they've created a really interesting situation here with each guy standing to lose something really important if they get pinned. I'm not expecting too much from Sting and Foley, but Angle and Jarrett can still go, and I think the match will be solid. I do think it's complete BS that with 4 spots to fill, they couldn't get at least one young guy in there. I mean, AJ or Daniels or Joe or someone. But nevertheless, I'm looking forward to this because of the storyline implications. You got AJ versus Booker T, I Quit match. AJ seems to be able to get Booker T to work a little harder than he usually does when they face each other. I think this will be very good. You got Kevin Nash versus Samoa Joe. There's been very little hype for this one. It seems like they've been trying to keep it under the radar, but I thought their match at Turning Point was better than it had any right to be, even though Nash winning was a load of crap. So hopefully they'll just do the right thing and have Joe finally get his revenge here and then just move on. Also, you got Suicide versus Daniels for the X Division title. I think it's too soon to have this match, but it will be damn good. Kaz is back in the Suicide costume now, and I expect this will be the match of the night. Then you got Awesome Kong versus Angelina Love for the Knockouts title. Very good build-up for this one. Angelina deserves to retain the title. She should retain the title. And the fact that they've stacked the odds against her so much makes me think that she will, although I have no idea how. Maybe they'll have Ayako Hamada show up and destroy Kong before the match starts or something. So we'll see. Now we got Beer Money versus the British Invasion in the finals of this 3D Invitational tournament. I'm liking the British Invasion, but I definitely think Beer Money should win this and get one more match with 3D, probably at Slammiversary. They're playing it like 3D are rooting for Beer Money to win this thing, and the writers were definitely resisting the Beer Money face turn for a while, but it looks like they're finally on board with it now. So I see Beer Money going over here, winning the tag titles back, and then going on to feud with the Brits. Also, you got Daphne versus Taylor Wilde, Knockouts Monsters Ball. That has practically no hype whatsoever, and to be honest, I'm not looking forward to it. But be sure to catch the pre-show. They're going to have Amazing Red versus Kiyoshi. Should be a hell of a match. I'm looking forward to this pay-per-view. I'm gonna order it. I think it's gonna be a good show. And TNA made a solid effort to hype this thing. So call your local cable providers. Order Sacrifice. I was gonna preview UFC 98 here too, and I did that the first time I made this video. But now it's already aired, so there's no real point anymore. I may touch on some MMA in the future though, so look out for that. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys in a few days. See ya.